I turned my wiry mess of a setup into my dream gaming setup, and today I'm going to be showing you the entire journey that I went through, and obviously I'm showing off a lot of my own stuff, and I will try to link everything that I own down in the description so you can find it if you are trying to look for the same things. But if you're here just to look at a cool gaming setup, then let's dive right in. Now first was the takedown part of this, and I just took down pretty much everything that I had and all the shelves. I left the sound panels up because I didn't know if I would need to move them for my next setup, but I did end up moving them later. The next part of it was just setting up and building the desk, which was honestly the most time consuming and probably most difficult part of the entire setup, because it took a lot of time to build this, but it is a $300 IKEA desk that I had to go and pick up, which was not easy because I had to drive very far to get to it, but I did end up getting it because IKEA desks add a lot to setups and are probably the best desks you can get for a setup. So if you're thinking about buying off Amazon or anything, I would just not go for Amazon desks. I've had two of them in the past and neither of them were good. I would just go with an IKEA desk. They're usually cheap. I just got an expensive one because I wanted an extreme setup. After setting up the desk, I had to take the sound panels and move them, which was very annoying because I had already had them glued to the wall, so peeling them off actually took off some of the drywall. But good news is I put a lot of sound panels up after and it covered up everything. So note to self, don't stick stuff to a wall if you plan to move it later, because it's gonna get drywall peeled off, and unless you want to repaint the walls, or in some cases like mine where it peeled a lot of it off, you would probably have to put putty or some sort of stuff in the holes that it made. So yeah, just be careful with sticking stuff to walls. After I did that, I set up the light bar underneath, which was something that really helped whenever I finished the setup because it lights up underneath the shelves I eventually put over it, and it also lighted up a lot of the desk area and made it feel a lot brighter. So I'm so glad I put that there. I was actually considering not doing it, but ended up doing it, and that was the absolute right decision. And the shelves above it just add an extra touch and can add a lot of stuff on top of them. After that, I just finished doing all of the sound panels, which I had to cut some to fit them in the right spot, but I did fix everything so it looked perfect. And after the full setup was done, I was really proud of how I cut the sound panels, and I was honestly worried at the beginning, but they ended up looking fine, and the full setup with all of the sound panels looks really good, honestly. Now, a lot of the same gear was carried over from the old setup and obviously looked a lot better on the new one, but I did end up getting a new keyboard, and the reason was because I had an $80 Razer keyboard, which seems like, you know, Razer keyboards are good, but in reality, they're not actually that good. They don't sound good, they don't have the greatest switches, and the software that they come with is a super bad software, not because it is not functional, it's very functional, but it just kind of adds a lot of bloat to your PC, if you know what I mean. It adds a lot that your PC has to run, and the startup of my PC after deleting that software has been a lot faster, so I would not recommend buying a Razer keyboard. It's cheaper to buy a better keyboard, and Razer's just overpricing stuff that you don't need. Now that I'm done slamming Razer, we could talk about the new keyboard that I bought, which is a lot better, and it is still a wired keyboard, but I prefer wired keyboards. I don't like charging my keyboard, and one wire is not that much to hide. But when it comes to the keyboard itself, it is an EPO maker or EPO maker, however you want to say it. And these are really good keyboards. I would definitely look into them if you want a good quality keyboard. And I changed out the keycaps on mine because I liked an all white keyboard, and also keycaps can add a bit of different sound to your keyboard, and I was going for a different sound. Now, the rest of the stuff I will show you after I show off the full setup, because I am stupid and decided to accidentally not record me putting all of the stuff on my desk when I was first making it. So I'll just show off the full setup to you now, and then I'll show you all the tech afterwards so I don't spoil it kind of when showing off the stuff. You'll get it, just here you go. that is the gaming setup. And if you were just here to see the gaming setup, then that is it. You're free to go. But if you want to see the tech that I use and, you know, see the specs of my PC and stuff like that, then of course you can stay for the rest and I will be talking about that. But if you're done, then you are free to go. Please consider liking and subscribing on your way out, and I'll catch you on the next one. The main monitor is a Kuri monitor that is 144 Hertz and is a 1440p monitor. I'll leave it linked in the description. The side monitor is a 1080p Asus monitor that is only 1080p because I don't really need that good of a monitor for my side monitor, since it's usually for just reading chat during live streams or having stuff on the side whenever editing a video. The keyboard, like I said earlier, is an EPO Maker or EPO Maker ALA F87, and I'll obviously have it linked in the description. The mouse is a Glorious Model D, and I like this mouse, but I wouldn't necessarily say that it's the best mouse because it's not extremely good when it comes to runtime. It doesn't really last for very long when it comes to battery, and obviously it sometimes has a bit of a problem if it's plugged into the wrong port on your PC. So this is not the best mouse, but I like this mouse. The mic that I'm currently using, and the one you see now, is the Beacon mic. It's literally just called the Beacon mic, and it's around $300. And I would say this mic is definitely good. It is a USB mic and not XLR, so it definitely is good for being a USB mic, if not the best USB mic, but you can definitely get better if you go for an XLR mic. The light bar that I'm using is called a Govee Glide. It's literally like the only thing that'll pop up if you type in Govee Glide, so that's what it is. This little device with all the buttons is called a Stream Deck. It's very useful for changing scenes in a stream or just really quick actions that you want to do. These things are pretty expensive for just a couple buttons, but obviously it's called a Stream Deck. It's by Elgato, and you can find them on Amazon. Of course, also linked in the description. My graphics card is a pretty low range graphics card. It's a 3060. I have 32 gigabytes DDR5, and also motherboard, I think it's by Aurorus, and let's see, the CPU is an i7 13700K, which is very good, better than my graphics card. There's bottlenecking happening there, but you know, whatever. And that's pretty much all of the main parts of my setup. Of course, there's stuff like the desk mat and stuff, but if I were to review and say every single thing on my setup, then we'd probably be here for a while. But of course, a lot of this stuff will be linked in the description, and I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did stay all the way through this video, then you are amazing, and I'll catch you on the next one. Subscribe for more tech and everything else videos.